Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel again. Today let's explore TRAE, the Agentic Coding IDE with MCP. Before we start, there are some updates about the TRAE software because now you can just choose different agentic mode like a builder mode and a builder with MCP. So there are some slight changes in the software. If you use it before, now you are going to see that the interaction with the user interface is different. So if you choose builder mode, you are going to directly ask the agents using different large language model in the backend to execute your coding task. But today, let's explore how we can use it with MCP. So before using MCP, I think you should be aware that the MCP is not always secure. There are already some of the security issues already you can see in different information sources. I recommend you to look at it. In the future, I'm going to dive into the security part, but today let's just go through one MCP tool quickly and see what it can do. So basically, if you choose builder with MCP here, and for the first time, it will prompt me to say MCP servers need to be added. So I'm going to go to add one MCP server, add MCP servers. So a good thing about this Agentic IDE TRAE is that you can choose MCP from the marketplace. Like if you use VS Code, you are going to see there are many coding tools which also offer you a marketplace to add the MCP quickly. But for TRAE, I think this is super intuitive. You can see the first one is called Puppeteer. If you click it, you are going to see the page on the GitHub, and it will just show you all the necessary information about this MCP tool. And I think the most important part is about the key feature. It can do some web browsing, screenshots, and so on. So I'm going to add this MCP tool. You can see here it says no information needed, so which means that you do not need to modify it. But for some other MCP server, maybe you need to manually configure the JSON part here. Okay, so here we just confirm we're going to have this tool being prepared. And if you expand this tool, you're going to see, okay, these are the several functions this MCP server is going to be able to help you to do, like Puppeteer navigate, screenshot, click, fill, select, hover, evaluate. Okay, so I'm just going to give it some very general task. Let's see if it can complete. Check the latest CS course of Stanford Graduate School and transform the main page to MD file. Okay, I'm going to use Claude 3.5 because the issue is if you are going to use the latest model, sometimes the latency level could be high. Just to avoid the delay, I'm going to use Claude 3.5 Sonnet for quick demo. So let's see if it can do that. Okay, so basically my prompt is quite general, right? I do not specify which website to get the information, but it will have to figure out what I'm looking for. So as you can see here, it already searched the computer science graduate school program. Very good. We already have some websites. And now it is going to create a comprehensive Markdown file to document Stanford CS graduate programs. You can see now the Markdown file is already here. Change it to another kind of view. Maybe it's better for us to read. Let's see. Stanford Computer Science Graduate School Program. Okay, it already says you the overview. Yeah, in general, it looks good. Okay, and also it shows also the PhD in computer science, which is a focus, key requirements. Of course, we can change our prompt to get a different result for sure. Okay, now let's try another use case. Okay, I'm going to say make different course information to a organized JSON format. In this way, we are going to see if it can process the information already get to a JSON format. Because like Markdown and JSON are the two most common formats that I use in my daily task. Okay, so let's see. It looks pretty good. You can see this is Stanford CS graduate programs, master programs, degree type, overview. Everything is organized, and you can see notable graduate courses. We have this list here. Looks pretty good. Okay, now let's try something about coding. I'm going to say, okay, check CrewAI builder documentation and build a simple teacher-student conversation agentic loop using Ollama. I'm not changing my conversation flow here, but I do recommend you, if you are going to change your topic, it's better that you start a new conversation and use a different directory, because in our case, you see it actually read all the information in the current folder as context. They are not 100% useful for us to build this agent conversation app. Okay, I think we already have CrewAI, so okay, so I need to install the dependencies. And you can see here is one option that auto-run commands and MCP tools starting from next time. I would recommend you to be very cautious about this option. Okay, so at this moment, I'm going to control each step. I already identified that Llama 2 is not in my local machine. Okay, I'm going to ask it, please check local available model instead of using fixed model name. I'm going to stop the conversation and send my request again. It is implementing a dynamic model selection by checking available Ollama models. Let's see. Okay, let's just run and debug. Okay, let's just leave it to the agents to solve our problem. Okay, all right. It does not run it, so I'm going to run it by myself. Yeah, sometimes this happens because if you want to use it to test and debug, sometimes the tool will help you to run it and to check the log. Okay, but it is not the case now. I think it's not very useful now. Let's just directly prompt it about the correct model name. Please use. So I think the dynamic model fetching mode is not working. Let's just fix the model name now and to see if this agentic conversation can go on. Okay, I think there are some issues now. I think please check Ollama official doc to see to rectify the errors. I assume that the error is about the way to call Ollama. I do not manually intervene. I just ask it to call the tool to check Ollama official website and to see if it can find the issue. All right, let's try it again. Yeah, I think it is up and running because I already see here the agent and the task information. Usually I see it in the back end of the CrewAI conversation. Now I think it is calling the model. Let's wait for a while for the conversation. Okay, good. Okay, so the agent and the task looks good. And here the student is going to ask a lot of questions. The teacher responds to the student's question about AI. And then we see here the teacher says the below answers. 15 answers to 15 questions. Looks good. And the log says conversation completed successfully. You can see the conversation results. Okay, everything looks good. After you complete the task and so on, it's always good for you to go back and check if the MCP is really called or utilized. If we now go back to check the toolbox here, we're going to see we have the MCP tool, Puppeteer, file system, terminal, web search, preview. So the agents is going to decide which tool to use. But did we actually use Puppeteer before? I think in some cases like this one, the model decided to use web search. So after checking again, I think most of the tasks were completed using web search function, not MCP. So in order to use MCP, I think I could go to check a specific website and do this again. Let's just use the European Central Bank Economic Bulletin. Okay, let's just say get info from below URL to a MD and a JSON format. Okay, very general. Let's hit enter. All right. It seems to be using always the web search function and it does not touch the MCP server. All right. You can see some markdown information already being fetched and saved. And let's see if it can get to the JSON format. Looks good. See here, it uses only the web search. Can you just use MCP Puppeteer? Now we are using the Puppeteer to script the data from the website. So it is a different approach because you see here now it is calling the tool or the MCP server. Okay, so eventually we get a confirmation that the local information is correct, so the agents decide not to do additional action. In order to test its functionality, let's just say use Puppeteer MCP to get Autogen agent conversation methods and build an app to simulate student teacher question answer loop. Okay, let's see if it can do this. I'll enhance the existing teacher student conversation by integrating Autogen. Okay, let's see how it goes to the next step. So basically, it goes to the Microsoft GitHub page to check the use case of agent chat. This is really focused on a specific URL. Okay, let's run it again. I thought it would actually change the existing program file. Creating a new one is really matching my expectation. It does not seem to work. Let's try again. Check again. Official document. The app does not work. Okay, so now if my question is just asking it to check the official documentation, it will just call the web search tool. So you can see you can get multiple results. But as you can see, for the interaction with MCP, usually we just focus on one specific web page. Let's just say that these two methods have their own pros and cons. So before we close the video, let's just give it one last chance and to see if it can fix the issue. Because this video is focusing on authorizing the agents to handle the programming entirely. I'm not going to manually intervene. Okay, let's give it a final spin. No, still error. Okay, so this is also one of the issue when you do vibe coding because the longer the context, the longer the conversation regarding both the context and also the time you spent with the interaction, eventually you are going to have different issues. Okay, so whether you use agents to code, use MCP server, use different tool calling, please make sure that you always have a control of the workflow. If you have more control of the workflow, it might potentially limit the hallucination and the divergence of the workflow. The agents may be calling different tools, and the MCP is considered as one of the tools. So as you see our previous interactions, the agents are more likely to call the web search tool, then MCP server. If you specify MCP server, it will call the MCP server and get the information that you needed. Please bear in mind that although MCP server offers a different standard to call different tools, you always need to check the tool details to make sure that you do not over authorize the tool to do different operations in your local machine. And please also be aware that some of the MCP tools may have a severe security issue. Okay. At this moment, I think we have done several things. We have tried the new version of a TRAE Agentic IDE. We have tried to equip the agentic workflow with this MCP server. We used the web search tool, the built-in tool, to get the online information we wanted and transform into local Markdown file and JSON file. We used the web search information to get the information about different agentic coding framework and to implement it to local application. In the meantime, we can see the agents do not always prefer MCP server as a tool because it has its internal logic to understand which tool to call. So in case that you want to use some MCP server and the agents do not go there, you need to make sure that your prompt is going to specify this MCP server and to help you accomplish your task. In the end, I think if you do not want to subscribe to some paid version of the Agentic IDE, you can always try the MCP server, try the agentic coding using TRAE. It is a good starting point. These are the key takeaways I want to share with you in this video. I wish you like this video. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. If you like my video, give it a like, share with your friends, leave a comment if you have any question, and see you next time. Bye bye.